There's a quiet mystery that surrounds water, a force so familiar yet so unknowable. It nurtures life, providing the very essence without which none of us could survive. It quenches our thirst, carries our food, cools our bodies, and cradles us when we are weary. Yet water also holds within it an immense power, a power that is at once gentle and overwhelming, a presence that can soothe or overwhelm, heal or take away. There is something about water that speaks to the soul, something that bypasses reason and touches the deepest part of who we are. It is no surprise, then, that when people cross the threshold of life within water, they do not return unchanged. Consider for a moment the vastness of a lake, the relentless rush of a river, or the endless horizon of the ocean. Each has its own voice, its own rhythm, its own secret language. And when someone dies in water, whether suddenly, tragically, or by accident, they are enveloped by these forces. In those final moments, they are carried beyond the confines of ordinary experience, immersed not only in the liquid embrace of water, but in a deeper, almost spiritual current that flows beneath the surface of life itself. There is a stillness, a surrender, and a confrontation with something larger than oneself, a force both terrifying and awe-inspiring. When they return, they carry a subtle but profound difference. It is not something visible in their appearance, but something felt in their presence, in the way they move through the world. The water leaves an imprint, not on the flesh, but on the soul. It is as if the currents and depths have whispered their secrets, shared truths that cannot be spoken aloud, and allowed the individual to glimpse existence in a way few others can. These are truths about impermanence, about surrender, about the delicate balance between life and death. They are truths that water has held for millennia, flowing through civilizations, shaping landscapes, and witnessing countless lives in quiet, constant observation. There is also a paradox in this transformation. Water, which can take life, also offers a kind of rebirth. It forces those who encounter it in extremity to release control, to relinquish fear, to let go of the illusions that bind us to the surface of our own lives. In doing so, it leaves the returning individual changed, attuned to subtleties that were invisible before. They have felt both the terrifying weight of death and the gentle embrace of life's continuity, and this duality colors every moment of their return. And so we see that water is not merely a backdrop for human tragedy or survival. It is an active participant in the transformation of the soul. It teaches, it shapes, it imprints. And when a person returns from its depths, they carry the memory of that encounter with them, quietly altering how they see, feel, and understand the world. The mystery of water is not only in its surface, in its reflections or waves, but in the depths it holds, and the secrets it whispers to those who have crossed its threshold and come back to tell the tale. Water has a way of teaching surrender in ways that are both subtle and absolute. When a person is immersed in it, especially at the threshold between life and death, all the familiar anchors of control and certainty are stripped away. The walls we build around ourselves, the routines, the schedules, the endless striving to manage every aspect of our lives, fall away like sand through one's fingers. In water, there is no need to fight, no option to resist the flow, and no illusions of permanence. The individual is forced to confront a truth that is both terrifying and liberating, that life is not something to grasp tightly, but something to move with, to flow through, and sometimes to let go entirely. In those moments, transformation begins. It is a silent, internal process, invisible to the eyes of those waiting on the shore or the riverbank, yet profound beyond comprehension. Some describe it as the soul learning to release, as if it recognizes that clinging is futile and that freedom lies in surrender. Others suggest that water itself leaves its memory upon consciousness, a memory of currents and tides, of depth and darkness, of the vastness that exists beyond the familiar world. It is as if the water carries knowledge of life's essential truths, and in its embrace these truths are imparted to the one who passes through. The experience cannot be measured or captured by words alone. It is felt in subtle shifts, in the rhythm of the heartbeat, in the quiet of the mind, in the way perception deepens and expands. Those who return often describe a sense of being simultaneously fragile and strengthened, aware of mortality yet infused with a renewed understanding of life's continuity. They sense the delicate balance of existence, the interconnectedness of all things, and the invisible threads that bind one human being to another, one moment to the next. Water in this way acts as both a mirror and a teacher. It reflects the vulnerability of the human spirit and the inevitability of change. At the same time, it guides the soul toward a new awareness, a deeper attunement to the forces of life and the currents of emotion that flow unseen beneath the surface of daily existence. The return from water is not merely survival, it is a kind of rebirth. The individual emerges carrying within them the wisdom of surrender, the quiet understanding of impermanence, and the unspoken knowledge that to flow with life is to honor its deepest rhythms. And yet, this transformation is not always immediate or obvious. Often it unfolds gradually, revealing itself in subtle ways, a new patience, a heightened empathy, an almost instinctive attunement to the moods of others, the unspoken currents of relationships, and the unrecognized beauty in ordinary moments. The experience in water changes the very lens through which one views the world. It is as if the soul, having touched the depths, can no longer see life solely in terms of control, possession, or certainty. Instead, life becomes a river, constantly moving, ever-shifting, and infinitely profound, a force to be respected, embraced, and ultimately understood. Those who return from water carry with them a subtle, almost mystical transformation. I call them water souls, for their very being seems infused with the essence of the depths they have touched. These individuals are different in ways that are hard to describe, yet unmistakable to those who sense the depths of human emotion and consciousness. They move through the world with a sensitivity that is almost uncanny, noticing the currents of feeling that run beneath ordinary conversation, the hidden tensions in relationships, and the silent joys or sorrows that often go unseen by others. Their awareness is heightened, as if the experience of touching the boundary between life and death has sharpened their perception of what is truly important. Water souls often carry a quiet calm. It is not the calm of complacency, but the calm of someone who has faced the unknown and returned with a newfound steadiness. They have glimpsed the fragility of existence, and that knowledge instills in them a measured patience, a gentle presence, and an almost reverential appreciation for the fleeting moments of life. Yet alongside this calm there may also dwell a profound melancholy, a silent echo of the abyss they once touched. It is a melancholy that does not weaken them, but rather deepens their understanding of life, of love, of loss, and of the delicate balance that sustains all living things. The water leaves more than just an emotional imprint. It changes the way the soul perceives reality. Those who have returned often speak of seeing life in layers, of sensing the invisible connections that tie people, events, and even moments together. They feel the ebb and flow of energy around them, the unseen currents that influence decisions, moods, and interactions. In many ways, their perception is fluid, attuned to nuance and subtlety in a manner that defies conventional understanding. They become interpreters of the world's hidden language, translating the silent messages that most of us overlook. This transformation also extends to their inner moral and spiritual compass. Water souls tend to develop a heightened empathy, not merely as an intellectual understanding of others' suffering, but as a felt experience. They know with almost instinctive certainty the weight of sorrow and the lightness of joy in ways that are immediate, visceral, and profoundly human. Their hearts become attuned to the rhythm of life itself, moving in sync with the experiences of those around them, while maintaining an intimate connection with the memory of their own brush with the infinite. Yet this heightened sensitivity can also be isolating. The water soul may struggle to feel fully understood, as their perceptions and emotions are often far more nuanced than those of the people around them. Still, their return is a gift, both to themselves and to the world. They embody the paradox of transformation, vulnerability and strength, melancholy and joy, surrender and awareness. They remind us that life is not merely about what we see on the surface, but about the depths we are willing to explore within ourselves and the subtle currents that shape our existence. In meeting a water soul, one cannot help but feel that something extraordinary has occurred. They have confronted the boundary between life and death, touched the hidden truths of existence, and emerged carrying a new understanding. A reminder that our lives, like water, are always in motion, and that those who traverse the depths return with a wisdom that can never be taken away. And yet, the world does not always understand those who return from the water. Friends, family, and acquaintances may notice subtle changes and mistake them for distance, moodiness, or even alienation. They may wonder why a person who once seemed ordinary now carries a quiet intensity, a reflective presence, or a gaze that seems to peer beneath the surface of reality itself. But this is not a withdrawal, it is a transformation. The individual has passed through an experience that few can comprehend, a confrontation with mortality in its most elemental form, and emerged with a consciousness that is deeper, more nuanced, and profoundly aware of life's delicate balance. Those who return often find themselves navigating a world that feels simultaneously familiar and foreign. The daily rhythms, the trivial disputes, the fleeting concerns that once consumed attention may no longer hold the same weight. Instead, they are drawn to deeper truths, to moments of genuine connection, to experiences that resonate with the unspoken currents of existence. Their priorities shift. They recognize the fragility of life and the fleeting nature of time, and this awareness shapes how they respond to the people and events around them. It is important to understand that this transformation does not isolate them in a literal sense. Rather, it opens a new dimension of presence. Water souls are more attuned to empathy, more capable of sensing unspoken emotions, and more willing to encounter life with authenticity. They do not merely react to the world, they perceive its rhythms, its patterns, and its invisible forces. This awareness can sometimes make ordinary interactions feel shallow or incongruent. Yet it also allows them to bring profound insight, compassion, and guidance into the lives of those willing to engage with them. There is also a gift in this perspective, the ability to forgive, to release grudges, and to embrace imperfection. Having confronted death, the water soul sees the futility of clinging to resentment, of holding tightly to anger or fear. They have glimpsed the continuity of existence beyond the physical, and this realization transforms the way they relate to the world. Every interaction becomes a choice, every emotion a moment to be honored, every life a thread in the vast tapestry of experience. Yet, the transformation is not always easy. The depth of perception that comes with surviving a near-death experience in water can make the world seem harsh, chaotic, or indifferent. The water soul may struggle to reconcile their newfound awareness with the limitations and distractions of everyday life. They must learn to navigate a society that may not fully appreciate their sensitivity or recognize the profound journey they have undertaken. In this challenge lies their strength. By moving through the tension between internal understanding and external reality, they cultivate resilience, patience, and a quiet courage that few can attain. Ultimately, the water soul serves as a reminder to all of us that life is fragile, that moments are fleeting, and that our existence is intertwined with forces far greater than ourselves. Their presence challenges us to look deeper, to feel more acutely, and to honor the unseen currents that shape our lives. In witnessing their transformation, we are invited to recognize the invisible threads that connect us, to embrace the lessons of surrender and empathy, and to see life not merely as a surface experience, but as a journey of depth, connection, and enduring meaning. When we encounter someone who has returned from the depths of water, we are in the presence of something extraordinary. They carry with them a quiet resonance, an imprint of a journey few can imagine, and even fewer can fully understand. This is not merely survival, it is a transformation of the soul. They have faced the boundary between life and death, surrendered to a force far greater than themselves, and emerged with a consciousness that is both expanded and profoundly intimate with the flow of existence. To meet them is to be reminded that life is not just a series of events on the surface, but a deep, ever-moving current that shapes, nurtures, and transforms all who pass through it. The water souls teach us that difference should not be feared. When someone carries the mark of water in their being, their sensitivity, their attunement, and their depth are gifts, not burdens. They remind us that to be alive is to experience not only the certainty of daylight and warmth, but also the mystery of depths, shadows, and currents beyond our understanding. Their lives are living metaphors for the fluidity of existence, the power of surrender, and the subtle wisdom that emerges when we are willing to confront our own fragility. There is also a lesson in humility within their presence. Water teaches that no human can control everything, that life is in constant motion, and that strength often comes not from resistance, but from yielding. Those who have returned from the water embody this principle. They move through the world with grace, not because they have conquered fear, but because they have embraced it. Their lives illustrate the paradox of strength in vulnerability, of clarity in uncertainty, and of wisdom that comes not from accumulation, but from letting go. Theirs is a gift of awareness that touches all aspects of life. They notice what others overlook: the unspoken sorrow behind a smile, the quiet joy in a fleeting moment, the invisible threads that connect people, events, and experiences. Their empathy is heightened, their perspective widened, and their hearts softened by the knowledge that existence is fragile, transient, and infinitely precious. In their presence, we are reminded to listen more deeply, to feel more fully, and to honor the unseen currents that guide us through life. And yet perhaps the most profound aspect of their return is the reminder of life's continuity. Water carries away the body, yet it cannot touch the essence. Those who come back have glimpsed the eternal nature of the spirit, the enduring flow that exists beyond the material world. They teach us that death is not an end but a passage, a movement through the currents of existence that continues to shape and inform the living. Their experiences illuminate the truth that our lives, though fleeting, are part of something far greater, something vast, mysterious, and infinitely interconnected. So when you meet a water soul, do not shy away from their difference. Listen closely, observe carefully, and allow yourself to be touched by the depths they carry. They are reminders of the transformative power of life and death, the quiet wisdom of surrender, and the enduring mystery of existence. Through them, we are invited to move more consciously, love more deeply, and live with the awareness that, like water, our souls are fluid, resilient, and capable of profound change. Their return is not just a personal miracle. It is an offering to all of us, a testament to the unseen currents that shape every life and the infinite depth of the human spirit.